Welcome back. We're looking at the Ladbroke Hurdle, the big race on Saturday. Another horse that's been punted is Shelford, and the form of that is actually quite good. I mean, it's beat Emerging Market and Aspusen as well. But I don't fancy that one either. But
I tend to have a theory that Chepstow form stays at Chepstow unless it goes to Toaster. But it's watching a horse win races at Chepstow doesn't immediately make me think, oh, back that to Ascot.
Okay, I'll put you. What about the fact it came second at Ascot?
Well, that's a fair comment, but not in such a not
in such a hot race. But the one thing I would say, Stable had a good winner today, and they said it was only 90% fit, and it's still bolted up. So Shelford, the price has gone again. I would probably try and be against these two in the market. Actually, I do think you could probably head towards some double-figure form, but the flat form's interesting of this horse as well.
In terms of Shelford, 134, is that where you'd have the horse?
No, I've got a lot better than that. I mean, I've actually got him 157, a Grade 3 winner like a Buston. I mean, we just spoke about.
£23 higher than me, for sure.
Yeah, 157. Well, if you're looking at a Buston that's going off 8 to 1 in a Grade 1, he comes out himself he comes out the same horse. So, when you look at it like that, and you've got to go and look at the run before that at Chepstow 2.5 mile. Immersion Talent won that, won second and very close, nearly won a Grade 2 race that day. And of course, before that, the form at Ascot takes on Gas and Golf today. The big problem for me with the horses is this drop back in trip. Over 2.5 miles, a half a mile from home, whips her up, Harris Gilton. It really was painful to watch him get going. And stepping down in trip, I just can't see it.
It would suit.
Just can't see it, but I do think he's a horse that's well handicapped, perhaps later in the season.
I'd love to know how many horses have won at Wolverhampton then gone on to win the Ladbroke, because I bet there's not many.
No, I bet there's not many either.
Interesting profile though.
Let's talk about Glendor Mirage.
Goodwood Mirage.
Goodwood Mirage, yeah. Sorry, Goodwood Mirage. I knew that was wrong.
They sent him jumping, didn't they, as an entire, and he was quite disappointing. It wasn't a surprise that he came out. He'd been gelded over the summer, and he came out and won. That wasn't a surprise. But he didn't do it on the bridle, did he? I mean, he was sort of hard work to win, and he didn't go in my notebook as one to back next time. Especially
yard form would concern me as well. They've not exactly been firing. I think it might be flying a little bit too high.
Jimmy Dem used to be on the show, and there's obviously different horses get flu jabs at a certain part of the year as well. I found that quite interesting. If you missed that, that's actually on YouTube, that clip about describing that trainers give the horse, because we don't really see that, do we? The flu jab, and it can affect them for a short while.
Could be all sorts, can't it?
Could be all sorts, but I mean, maybe John Joe has that operated on, not operated on, but done earlier a part of the season, like October, November. Maybe that could be the reason. You just don't know what the reason is, because his form is out of form, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not questioning, John Joe's the form that the guys are saying here, but I do, the last performance last year, he was a horse just to avoid because he couldn't jump. I watched him very carefully on his comeback run. Her form has worked out very, very well. He looked like a different horse to me. He jumped really well. He looked like a horse that had actually grown up. The Gowden operation done it, and I did think he won easy. He jumped the last a length and a half clear and dossed with McCoy to the line for a neck beat, and I say he looked lightning rod, came and bolted up the time after. You go back the third, the fourth and fifth have all won their races. I think the handicapper I did say, I mean, he's on mark at 142 now. I've got him at 152, but I thought there was more in the locker. The big concern is he was taken out of Cheltenham because of the ground, and if it is going to be soft ground, will he be running this race?
I was actually quite impressed with that Weatherby run, I've got to say.
Got to be played late though, I think, with Mirage.
Definitely.
I don't want to. It depends who rides. There's no jockey booked at the moment, so I'd be interested to see if AP turns up. Yeah, if you're seeing this horse in the front three turning for home, I don't see it staying. But then don't forget, a horse first time tongue tied won last time out, so that could have been an aid to it. If a horse can suddenly then breathe, it's won since that. Things like this, maybe I'm being a bit harsh writing it off. I mean, it's a double figure price as well.
But lightning rod, Admiral though he is, he's a fairly exposed handicapper. I'm not sure that this is a big step up.
He bolted it. It was great. I mean, he's given it over a stone away, stone and £5, and I backed the second that day. And I mean, he absolutely bolted up in Class 3. Never come off the bridle. I mean, you look back, Secret Assassin, was it? Who was in fifth that day, came out and won again at Weatherby Class 3. I think it's sold in enough form, Billy.
Clondor Warrior was the one I was supposed to have mentioned before this one in betting order. A third in the Greatwood, behind Guano Victoire and Vanator.
Amazingly well handicapped on his flat form, I thought. He should have a lot more to offer, and I backed him last time and watched him, and I thought, well, Okay, he got beat fair and square. He's still a well-handicapped horse. This kind of race, I think, will suit him. Willie Mullins obviously knows the time of day. And I thought he would.
Will he run him though? Because Willie's entering all these horses.
This will run. I'm pretty sure this will run. I just don't know who will be riding. And I hate being critical of jockeys, but I didn't think the jockey the last day gave it the best ride. I'm not saying it would have ever won that Cheltenham race, but I think it could have come. It could have stayed on a bit closer towards the end there, and it was played just the wrong way round. But like I say, it's a good horse, but are we just thinking it's well handicapped? Is it flattering to deceive a little bit?
I think the ground, that last race, I think you've been a little bit unfair on the jockey. I thought he came and produced him right, but I just had a feeling that he was rolling around on the ground. I didn't
Two in front were good as well.
Particularly like it. He looked a little bit like Pete when he left that award ceremony a couple of weeks ago on the way home. I mean, he was rolling around all over the place, and I just really do think it was down to perhaps the ground. So that concerns me. I do think he's well handicapped. When you look at Goodwood Mirage, they were very similar horses on the flat, and the fact it gets a stone from that horse here, he must be well handicapped. On my own ratings, I've got him at 139, running off 127. I've just got this doubt in the back. If it comes up soft, that would be my problem.
Can it reverse form with Gardner and Victor?
I think it can. I mean, Gardner Victor's gone up, what, £9 for that win? That's interesting. I mean, Philip Hobbs has got that one in the Champion Hurdle. So
I noted that, actually, and I know they've sort of, at the start...
Did he nick the race, though? Did Richard Johnson nick that race at Cheltenham?
At the start of the season, they were thinking, weren't they, what we're going to do with this horse, and anything over hurdles is a bonus, and it produced that run, and suddenly they were pretty shocked by it, I think. But
talk about Norris chasing a while back.
Yeah, they've held on to it. The one thing that may play, going back to the Irish Raiders form, I've just had a flick through. A Fairy House Saturday, it's not the strongest card. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Mr. Walsh come over for that one. If it's fancied, he may be on a plane over for one ride. So wait and see who the jockey booking is. I think that'll give you a good indication of how well fancied it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, which horse?
He went back to Clondal Warrior. Gardner Victor.
Gardner Victor.
He was just thinking of a pun after saying I was so overweight coming back
That's his comedy routine.
No. Gardner Victor, I've got to be honest, he really surprised me in the Greatwood. I thought he had plenty enough weight. I thought he showed at Aintree over the 2 miles on the speed test that he just couldn't go with them. And I was scratching my head a little bit, and now we've actually seen the second horse, Van Tur, come out of the weekend in receipt of £8, and the way the new win beat him. I'm now beginning to think, are we questioning the Greatwood form slightly? Because what really concerns me about that race Saturday is a Loffy's there. Now, a Loffy one is Greatwood. He can only be 140 or so. For what are you doing so close to him? There's got to be something wrong there for me. Again, it sounds like I'm slagging the new one off. Yeah. But, you've got a lot. And I just wondered, it was very soft ground. Of course, Gardner Victor takes on Clondal Warrior again. Pine Creek, another horse we're bound to speak to in a minute. I just think he's vulnerable now. He's been reassessed up to 153.
OK, he's scratching his head. You can tell because of his hair.
On Gardner Victor, I would say as well, if the horse was going to be doing some serious winning, it was going to be that weekend, wasn't it? Phillips Hobbs had his string in absolute top-notch form. I'm not saying he hasn't now, but if the horse was going to be winning a race this season over hurdles, that would have been the one, I suppose, it would win on the face of it.
We've got to move on. So, Balgary, who quite interests me, because David Pipe... 2 years, been out for a long time, and last time it came back after a break, it actually won.
1,011 days. You just don't know. It's just put your pen down and just watch.
Pipe had a few at Cheltenham, didn't you? Pipe had a few at the last Cheltenham meeting that had run for a couple of years. He could bring it
back here and win, absolutely.
Got very well backed as well the last day at Cheltenham. When you think it had the one win in the UK, Tom Skoo was booked and it was fancied, and it flattered to deceive a little bit. Okay. But he can bring them back. For me, I'd like to see a bit more in the book.
We've actually really steamrolled this race. We've got 3 or 4 minutes left. So, Billy, is there anything in this race
that
you want to go?
You've got to mention. Go, Gassing Golf. I'm going to find him now. Yeah, I mean, he's been run up the last, 5 times. He's always thereabouts. And with that sort of horse, you can say, well, he's not well handicapped. He keeps getting beaten. He's creeping up the weights. But he's the kind of horse that could come out and win this by 7 lengths and suddenly find a burst. I think he's got stamina. I think he'll be...
What price are we talking about this one, Billy?
25 to 1.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a very big price, but I think he's an each-way play because he just doesn't win. He's not won in 12 starts. I backed him for the Imperial Cup and I had a decent bet on him around 25-1. They came clear of the third horse. He just does not get his head in front. Similar to Ascot, he travels up, but he just, I don't know why. For me, he's a horse, you could put him in selling company and he still won't go past. You know, some horses are like that.
Yeah. Anything from you, Matt, that we've not discussed?
There's actually a few others you could really speak about, but I suppose Pine Creek, he'd been off for a while before running the Greatwood last time. You know, his form last season at Grade 3 Company, obviously running the Great, was a little bit better there. I just thought off 10-9 he could be interesting. In summary, I thought it was a very, very difficult race, and one we should wait to see what the weather's doing Saturday.
Just really quickly, one bit of form I was interested in. Matt mentioned before, so you quite like Cool McCavity, didn't you? That was one of your possible outsiders.
I just thought he travelled into the race well at Aintree, but when I watched it back a few times, he's done that before. Travelled up and then quite fined.
Yeah, he'll either win or sort of do nothing. But there's a bit of form that is beaten Stockton Wing, that's beaten Bayern, which I thought was probably what you'd picked out on. That's your kind of bag, which interested me a bit at the prices. One, I really liked Swing Bowler because it won about 4 in the row a while ago now, and I was on each time. David Pipe needs to get a claimer on this horse, needs to get some weight off her back, and who knows, it's got to rediscover some form, but at 33s I thought it was a fair price.
She's interesting.
And the trainer's in reasonable form, and if he can get her back to anything like she was, she'll be in the top 4, 5, 6 probably.
And it's not a race that always goes to an ex-fat horse.
No. So at the prices, Swing Bowler will be an each-way play. There's plenty in here. There's nothing in here I could really rule out. There's even a 50-1 shot that caught my old Gibbril of Chris Gordon, Tom Cannon booked, and he's in reasonable form. It won't be winning the race, but it might be putting in a bold show at 50s.
So, Matt, what would you...
Yeah, I wouldn't at this stage. I suppose... what would I?
Sam.
What would I?
If they book a decent claimer and get some weight off her back, Swing Bowler would be of interest to me. I wouldn't mind also, just to say that I think Cool McCavity may be a place lay bet for win.
I do think, I should say, if the ground's no worse than good to soft, I think Goodwood Mirage has got a tremendous chance, I really do.
I thought in terms of value, Gassing Golf is a huge price. I'd agree with Sam. Swing Bowler is interesting, and Clondor Warrior is probably the most likely winner.
So lay the favourite, basically, is what we're saying at the moment.
No one said that.
Okay. I don't quite know how long we've got left to the next break because no one's telling me. So let's go over to Rachel in Twitter Corner, see if there's any more interaction.
Yeah, well, quite a few of you are tweeting us, so do carry on tweeting us at Bet Racing Nation. I should do a few, because again, I don't know how long I've got. Joseph wants to, your favourite moment had to be Balbriggan winning Troy Town Chase, backed it 12s and went off at 3s. Bookies went home after that. I bet they loved you. And also Alex Rogers, thank you, by the way, guys, for tweeting us in this evening. Your biggest win was Balthazar King at Cheltenham, £110 at 4-1, and brilliant use of an emoji afterwards. So do carry on tweeting us your biggest win of the year, your highlights of the year, your biggest loss of the year. We want you to get involved in this very special midweek show at Bet Racing Nation. Back to you, Peter.
Thank you very much indeed. We are going to look ahead. Well, no, not. We're going to look back.
You've got the time machine out.
Wouldn't that be wonderful if we could? And then still have our wages.
It would certainly make my winning spree, my lack of winning spree, a bit better if we could look ahead.
Oh, dear.
We're going to look back. We're going to look back at some of the memories, some of the big races, some of the things that happened in racing during the course of 2014. And away from actual winning or losing, what was your highlight and what do you remember of 2000? What signifies 2014 to you as a racing enthusiast? We're going to take a very short break and we'll be back after this.